It's funny, when I look back at Mortal Kombat, what I wouldn't share with folks that I worked with was, hey, I do this for free.
4 people can make an entire game.
Ed Boon and John Tobias were young, they were hungry.
It's a bit of the Wild West. There wasn't rules.
They were working on projects at Midway that they found exciting, but when you're a creative person, eventually you're going to want to branch out and do your own thing.
John and I were talking about a game called Street Fighter. We were really kind of fixated on the idea of doing a photorealistic Van Damme fighting game.
Well, the visuals were incredible. It's digitized, it's real people.
That's great.
You're seeing those 2 big characters on the screen. I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
After that game came out, graphics just kept taking leaps and leaps on top of each other.
There was so much to explore, and you had no idea of what you were still missing. And not having the internet at the time to go to, it made it very social.
When I first got a chance to see a fatality for the first time, I lost my mind. I didn't know that was allowed in a video game.
It was really the first mainstream hyper-violent game.
The way the local news would cover it was, can you imagine if Pac-Man could kill?
When a player wins, the so-called death sequence begins. The game narrator instructs the player to finish his opponent.
Certainly, the game being ported to the home kind of changed things a little bit.
That was a shocker to the moms and dads of suburbia.
The very idea that like Mortal Kombat was going to destroy society or the fabric of our youth was always ridiculous. If it was just like, hey, it's a cool fighting game and you can chop off heads, like we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
These games would just start showing up at arcades, copying Mortal Kombat. Bloodstorm, Time Killers, Tattoo Assassins. These games played terribly.
It was more than blood, more than guts, more than even a fighting game.
They really hit just like a gold mine.
Back then, it was kind of like you make a game, you hope it's a success, and you move on to the next game. And if it is a success, cool. You move on to the next game and you do something else, right?
When the game was done, certainly in my head, there was 10 things that I would have done differently.
And so that was the first time that I thought, oh, okay, I guess we're signed up for a sequel. The hardware that we were working on was improving. I think if you look at MK2 next to MK1, you notice the difference in terms of the aesthetics.
Mortal Kombat 2 built on 1, 3 built on 2.
The run button, oh my God. Oh my God.
Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 were still great games, but they felt so much slower that it was hard to go back.
They play so differently, but the fact that they're so different is what's cool. Mortal Kombat 4 was like reset again.
The game had started getting a little bigger, going into 3D for the first time. I was super excited about it.
Mortal Kombat going 3D, I think, you know, it makes sense when you look at where technology was going at the time.
And people forget how tough the transition was to go from 2D to 3D for so many teams.
The team was 4, and then it was 5 for MK2. I think it was like 7 for MK3. 15 for MK4, and each game just grew. And once we got into doing directly to the home, or it was writing to a DVD or CD, it takes a huge team.
Like they experimented and did all this different stuff with Mortal Kombat.
We're trying to up the game, you know? Like, we're trying to come up with something that, you know, progresses the game.
This was over the course of, 20, 25 years.
I think back to a conversation I had with an uncle of mine. He asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I said, hey, I want to draw Spider-Man. And he said, well, somebody's already drawn Spider-Man. You got to make up your own thing. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I guess I got to make up my own thing. And Mortal Kombat was that thing. I mean, I think that it's, I don't know that I'll ever create something that resonates the way that Mortal Kombat did. That's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Ed, John Tobias, and, a handful of other guys just did a great job. That's it.
Mortal Kombat is actually the best-selling fighting game franchise in the world.
It's always been my favorite fighting game.
When Mortal Kombat came out, it was like, oh, this is the pinnacle of gaming.
It changed the way the marketing happened. It changed the ways that people thought about violence.
It caused the industry to grow on so many levels.
It brought in the shock, awe, and humor that I think has represented the pure definition of video game entertainment.
There's a lot of games lately that would rather show you that they're art. It almost seems like they're performing. It's like me, please tell me I'm acceptable, tell me I'm good enough. And Mortal Kombat is just like garage band and sort of American. It's like, go fuck yourself. That's what I love about it. And I have to assume there's lots of us that love that.
You have players who are really wrapped up in the lore and the story and all of that in a way that like most other fighting games never really delved into.
Are you sure you're a grandmaster? Interesting.
Kung Lao, over here! It's why the games still have these, amazingly crafted story modes to this day.
We must fight for each other, Baraka, not with each other.
Got anyone suspects? He said as much to my face.
Aid us, and I'll make sure you sit at Kotal's table.
It's this giant soap opera built on top of this super, super fun fighting game that really captured this feeling of mystery and magic that you get from old kung fu films.
And it's that curiosity, I think, that drives people to continue playing Mortal Kombat, and that has helped it remain a pillar of popular culture today.
I am not yet defeated. Yes, you are.
Temple of Kataravala, take 39, tail slate.
That's a wrap.
They're making the fourth movie now, right? Like how many video game franchises have 4 movies made out of them?
And I really don't think about it, because I think about it as just a game, but no, it brings people together.
And it's created such a mass community.
Their fan base is one of the most loyal fan bases that I've ever seen in all of gaming.
It will always be the game that I think was my first love and continues to be that. I'm an MK fan for life.
I would hope that, 100 years from now, people are still talking about Mortal Kombat and, Finish Him is still a thing.
There's such a fervent base of fans for it. So if they don't get sick of it, we're gonna still make it.
I think if that could be the legacy of Mortal Kombat, that it's just this evergreen thing that will always be with us, I think I'd be very happy.
And whether it's spin-offs or reboots or, continuing the story, I'd love it if Mortal Kombat became a forever franchise like DC or Marvel or Star Wars, long after we're done working on our games, if it was something that everybody, still wanted.
Game over.